Good afternoon, and welcome to the regular meeting on Monday, March 18th of the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Commission. Welcome, everyone, and shall we start with roll call?
Commissioner Scarpetian is absent. Khan?
Here.
Rotfogel?
Here.
Sharkey? Here. President Patrick?
Here.
Report regarding posting of the agenda. The agenda for the March 18, 2013 meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on Thursday, March 14, 2013. Item 2, upcoming council agenda items.
Yes, President Patrick, Commissioners, I would actually like to start with highlighting actions that were recently taken by the City Council, if I may, and then we will report on upcoming council agenda items. First and foremost, on February 26th, the City Council did review and approve the indoor soccer program that will begin on June 1st at the Civic Auditorium per the Commission's recommendation. Also on February 26th, the City Council approved an operations agreement and a 5-year lease with All for Health, Health for All nonprofit organization to operate a youth mental health counseling program out of the Heritage Gardens Park Cedar House, which, as you know, is a 1,700 square foot historic restored bungalow that we will now be using to provide youth services. And that building became available as a result of consolidating our own youth and family services programs from there to Pacific Park. Then on March 5th, the City Council approved a Rose Float budget for the 2014 Rose Float, a fundraising strategy which will be a combination of pursuing corporate sponsorships as well as community engagement, and any community member that donates $25 or more will be eligible to enter a drawing for the opportunity to ride on the float. And so we're hoping that will engage the community. And the City Council also approved or authorized a staff to execute a contract with Phoenix Design to build the float. Coming up on April 2nd, we have a report to recommend a resolution to adopt specifications for contracting out landscape maintenance services, which we do for general government facilities. On April 2nd, we also have a motion to approve an award of a construction contract for the Civic Auditorium roof. And also on April 2nd, we have a motion to approve a conceptual design for the Maple Park Improvement Project. Then on April 16th, we have on the docket a joint meeting between the Housing Authority and the City Council to review and approve the proposed fiscal year 13-14 Community Development Block Grant, Homeless Emergency Shelter Grant, and the Home Annual Action Plan, and authorization to submit the plan to HUD. And that is it.
Okay, thank you very much. What is next?
Item 3, Commission staff comments.
Okay, so we start with Dottie.
Oh, I thought you were going to start with Steve.
Steve decided he didn't want to be first.
Oh, he didn't want to be first. Okay, sorry about
I have
that.
been silenced.
Right. Okay, Glendale Parks and Open Space Foundation. 2 events coming up on May 5th is our 10K hike and trail run in the Verdugo Mountains. 3 miles up, 3 miles down. It's at Brand Park. We expect over 700 people. And Glendale Memorial Hospital is our presenting sponsor, and we also have sponsors for a free pancake breakfast for the runners, for the participants. And also, so if you want to go to the website, it's runtheverdugos.com. And the other website we have on May 10th is Glendale Dodger Night. So that was a great night last year, so this is our second time. So anyway, those 2 things. And also I wanted to say I went to the Trails and Open Space work day at Duke Magian Wilderness Park. I had so much fun. I thought, I'll just go up and stay a little bit. And it was, the kids have the best time. There's newly planted trees that have It's been, the whole program is sponsored by the Glendale Parks and Open Space Foundation, and the kids were watering trees and planting poppy seeds, and they just had the best day. And kids from little kids to about 12 and me. And so anyway, definitely check out our Trails and Open Space work days coming up. So.
If Rodney wants to come up and have the pancake breakfast, but he's not running, of course.
He has to pay.
Okay, so, and that was my question, how much does he have to pay?
That's a good question. I don't think we've established that yet, have
We
we?
don't have that answer yet.
$5 from the back.
$5. Oh,
From the back of the room.
That's pretty good.
Can't get breakfast
There you go,
anywhere else for
Rodney.
$5.
Is that just for me or for anybody that wants to do that?
No, everybody else is $2.50.
It's free.
Yeah.
And it's Jewel City, Kiwanis that, right? That,
Yes, yes.
are going to be making the pancakes. So.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question for our director. And based on what you said, you mentioned that at the city council hearing that the indoor soccer program was approved. We had talked about considering the plexiglass extensions. Was that approved, or how did that go?
Commissioner Khan, I'm glad you brought that up. We did revise our proposal to include the plexiglass and increased our budget, and the budget was approved by the City Council.
Great.
So it will be
Perfect.
plexiglass.
Great, thank you.
Good. And I just wanted to say that I attended the Arbor Day festivities, and what a fun time that was also. It was kind of gray, so it would have been nice if it was sunnier, but then I realized where we were sitting, the sun would have been in our eyes, so gray was perfect. And it was just a really nice ceremony, and lots of trees are going to be planted in memory and in honor of people this year, so another nice celebration on the part of Community Services and Parks, so thanks for that. Okay, what is next? Oh, I'm sorry, I almost skipped you.
President Patrick, we do have a couple of staff comments and/or announcements. I would like to start off with a very important community meeting that is coming up on Monday, April 8th from 6 to 7:30 at the Central Library. The Library Arts and Culture Department is seeking input from community members regarding the planned renovation of the Central Library. And of course, it's important to us because the library is integrated into the Central Park campus, which includes our Adult Recreation Center and our park. So they are partners of our department. And so anyone interested in hearing about the conceptual plans and would like to give input in terms of what should go as part of the library, they should attend this meeting. Again, it's Monday, April 8th from 6 to 7:30 at the Central Library Auditorium.
Yes, President Patrick, members of the Commission, we have another event for you to attend and have some fun. And this time you want to work so hard. This is the annual Cesar Chavez event scheduled for March 30th. That's a Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Pacific Community Center at 501 South Pacific Avenue. We will have a guest speaker, Ruben Duran, and performances by mariachi band. We will have Aztec dancers, flamenco dancers, a number of exhibits for youth. This time we're including some lowrider exhibits for the young teens to come out and look at some cars, and we'll be doing some T-shirt graphic printing. Of course, we will have the free food that comes with it, the tacos, carne asada, and chicken tacos. Come early because they do go out very quickly. And then we'll have some opportunity drawings. We'll have music performance by the Edison Elementary School students, and just a lot of entertainment this year, and we expect to have a very good crowd. Hopefully some great weather a couple of weeks, and hope to have you there as well.
Sounds like fun.
It is a fun day. I've been.
I just want to add my two cents to the community meeting about the Central Library, because I think this is a really good opportunity for Parks and the library to integrate those two pieces of property, and it's been a long time when we were separated by a fence and a parking lot, and so this is really a great opportunity, and I know the library would like to have a lot of public input about what is important in this project, so I would also encourage you to attend that meeting. Okay, anything else? All right, then, what is next?
Item 4, oral communications. I don't have any cards.
I have no cards either, so we'll move on.
Item 5, consent items. At A, approval of the minutes of the Commission's special meeting held on February 14, 2013.
Okay. I have a motion to approve these
I
minutes?
read them. I have a motion to approve.
Okay.
Meeting.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, I'll take roll call. Commissioners Garpetian, absent. Khan,
Yes.
Rotfogel,
Abstain?
Sharkey,
Yes.
President Patrick.
Yes.
Item 6, business agenda. At A, action items. At 1, motion to note and file a report regarding the landscape maintenance of general government facilities.
Mr. Duran, or?
Thank you, Mr. Duran. Good afternoon, President Patrick, members of the Commission. The report in front of you is regarding the landscape maintenance, the contract landscape maintenance of general government facilities. These facilities typically include the city medians, landscaped areas, fire stations, libraries. As you know very well, that our park staff mostly maintain the parks and recreation facilities, and anything other landscape areas we contract out to a vendor, utilizing best resources in areas where the public gets to utilize for safety, liability reasons. We are now at the end of the cycle with Parkwood Landscape Maintenance Incorporated, and the contract expires in June. We prepared specifications to go next week, as Mr. Duran indicated, next week or possibly following week to council to get approval to have the city clerk advertise for the bids and accept the specifications. A couple of minor changes we're making going forward with the specifications. Currently, there are some medians and libraries that our staff is maintaining. Over the years, when our larger facilities such as ARC and Griffith Manor were under construction, and those facilities happen to fall in the same geographic section that we have the city divided in terms of maintenance, we had staff resources that we could utilize. We felt it's best utilized by taking on some of the contract facility areas. That way, the city will realize some savings in our contract maintenance. Well, as those facilities came back online, now we are burdened with those facilities as well as those formerly contract facilities. So a goal going forward will be is take those facilities, such as the Casa Verdugo Library, the Grandview Library, North Brand Boulevard, the medians, and put that back on the contractor for the following bid cycle. In addition, right now, the contractors maintaining one of our facilities, Doran Gardens, and Riverwalk, as it came online, currently is being transferred over to us. Given that we didn't have any additional resource allocated for those facilities, they are currently under contract maintenance. Our goal is to take those on as an exchange for the facilities we're going to put on the contract. We're going to take on Dorn Mini Park, and we're going to take on Riverwalk, the Phase 1 completed maintenance onto our staff resources. And this is very generic because we're looking at seeing what the new bids come in. We are anticipating an increase. The contract prices right now per facility, we haven't seen an increase in several years. It was a negotiated contract, and as part of the negotiation, we took irrigation out of the mix to be able to manage a level budget contract. So we've been paying for irrigation as an added cost. Next year's bid cycle, the specifications include irrigation as part of the base contract so that each department will take on the responsibility and request funding for their respective areas from council for a full-on irrigation and general landscape maintenance for their facilities. In short, that is a summary of the report. We are asking you to note and file. We typically ask council for their approval for adopting the specifications and moving to bid. We want the commission to have an idea as to what we have coming on. And the goal is that it'll start corresponding. July 1 would be the start of the fiscal year as well as the start of the contract annual maintenance, so that each department going forward will request their funds in accordance with the fiscal year start.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions?
Question.
Yes.
So this will be sent out to bid, so it won't just be Parkwood Landscape Maintenance, it would be the best bid, and it's a 3-year contract?
Yes, our goal is to have it advertised for bid in the local newspapers and other publications that we typically would publish specifications. And our goal is to request a 3-year base contract with the possibility of asking 2 additional 1-year extensions. That gives us the opportunity to, if we everything is going smooth, like the contract and the work is there, we have the ability with council approval to extend an additional year. The current contract with Parkwood, we've had the opportunity to increase the term by additional up to, I believe, almost 18 months. 2 times we went to council, asked for an increase. For one, it kept the prices at the same level. For secondly, we've been doing good work with Parkwood, so it kept that consistency. So absolutely, we will be advertising in a number of publications, as well as a 3-year contract.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I need a motion to note and file this.
Moved, or
Don't, go ahead.
moved?
Second?
He couldn't hear you.
Oh, I moved to accept and file the report.
Okay, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Garpetian is absent. Khan?
Here?
No, yes or no?
Yes. Vogel?
Yes.
Sharkey?
Yes.
President Patrick.
Yes.
Item
Okay.
6B, reports for information only at 1, Volunteer Trail Safety Patrol update.
Thank you, President Patrick, members of the Commission. I'm Mark Sturdivant, Senior Analyst for Community Services and Parks. And as you know, well over a year ago, we set out to establish a volunteer trail safety patrol program. It took us some time to research other similar programs and to put the best practices we learned from those programs into our own, then to reach out to the community for volunteers and equip and train those volunteers who step forward. But we finally done it, and the City of Glendale's Trail Safety Patrol began operation on February 2nd of 2013. And now since it's been in operation for about 6 weeks, we thought we would tell you a little bit about the Trail Safety Patrol and let you know how things have been working out thus far. First, the mission of the Trail Safety Patrol volunteers is to serve as ambassadors for community services and parks, to provide for the safety and well-being of park and trail users, to preserve and protect park resources, and to promote an enjoyable experience for all park visitors. Specifically, the responsibility of the Trail Safety Patrol are these: to assist community services and park staff and other city professionals, such as police and fire, in making sure that park and open space visitors are safe and that plant, animal, geological, historical, and archaeological resources of Glendale's parks and open spaces are protected. Second, to educate visitors and trail users about park resources, facilities, and programs, about the safe and courteous use of park trails and other amenities, and about park rules and regulations. And finally, it's to observe and report damage to park resources, unsafe conditions, incidents involving park visitors, violations of park rules, and police, fire, and medical emergencies. The Trail Safety Patrol is organized into 3 units: the hike unit, the mountain bike unit, and the forthcoming river unit, which I'll tell you more about in a moment. The patrol is a collaboration of Community Services and Parks, Glendale Police, and Glendale Fire. And I should add that a substantial amount of the funding for this program comes from the Glendale Parks and Open Space Foundation, who have made a really generous investment in this program. The requirements of a Trail Safety Patrol volunteer are these. The volunteer must be at least 18 years of age, become an official city volunteer and undergo our fingerprint and background check, be in good health and provide a letter from their physician indicating that they are fit to ride or hike, participate in our City Trail Safety Patrol program, training program, and agree to devote a minimum of 4 hours a month as a Trail Safety Patrol volunteer. Members of the mountain bike unit must pass CORBA's, and that's the Concerned Off-Road Bicyclist Association's mountain bike skills test, and here you see a couple of photos of our volunteers undergoing that testing at Malibu Creek State Park. The members of the hike unit had to demonstrate that they could hike essentially the Verdugo Mountains 10K route from the doctor's house to the top of the Verdugo motorway and back in under 2.5 hours. And this is some of our hike unit volunteers on their test day in Brand Park. And then we held a training day in December, and it was conducted by CSP staff as well as police and fire staff. And it had a number of components, including an introduction to the trail safety program, a section on how to work with police and how to work with fire, a course in dealing with difficult people, a 3-hour basic first aid course, a course in park rules and regulations, and a review of common scenarios that a volunteer might encounter when they're on patrol. And this is some photos, actually, of our training day. On February 2nd, our first hike unit took off out of Brand Park, and the following day we had some very nice coverage on the front page of the Glendale News Press. And the next day, on Sunday, February 3rd, the bike unit took off on the Beaudry motorway. And these units also patrol in the San Rafael Hills and in Deukmejian Wilderness Park. I thought you might be interested in some statistics. When the volunteers complete a patrol, they send me a patrol log, and one of the things that I ask them to do is indicate to me how many hiker encounters and how many mountain bike encounters they have. And encounters are defined as people they would meet on the trail, perhaps passing them on the trail. And then we also count the number of contacts. And contacts are those situations where a trail safety patrol volunteer will have a conversation, will be engaged in a conversation with someone who's using our trails in open space. And as you can see, since February 2nd, we've had 10 patrols. Those patrols have constituted 31.75 hours. The patrollers have had 453 hiker encounters, 70 mountain biker encounters, 155 hiker contacts, which I'm really excited about because that's people they sat down and talked to, and 18 mountain biker contacts as well. Coming up, we are going to implement the third unit in the program. And we're currently recruiting for what's going to be known as the River Unit. The River Unit will patrol along the Glendale Narrows Riverwalk and in the lower areas of Brand and Deukmejian parks. These will be less strenuous patrols than those being done by the other two units, and what we hope to do is attract some people who want to give back to their community, love the outdoors, but who maybe felt that they could not pass the more strenuous tests that the other units are required to do. So we hope to have the River Unit up and running by the end of April. And if you're interested, for those who are watching at home, here is some information. You can either contact Iris Hidalgo or myself at these numbers or these email addresses, or visit the park's homepage and go to the Trail Safety Patrol section, and there will be information there as well on how to participate in the River Unit. Now, on a related note, we've introduced another program that will help ensure safety and promote an enjoyable experience in Deukmejian Park, and that is our new park hosts, Richard and Nong Smith. Now, Richard and Nong are part of a nationwide program known as work camping. And through this program, individuals and couples, often retired couples, provide volunteer services at parks and in campgrounds in exchange for utilities and a place to park their RVs. So their motor coach and accompanying cargo trailer are now parked at the far west end of the overflow parking lot at Deukmejian, where we supply them with electricity, water, and a sewer hookup. And in exchange, they give us 30 hours per week of work in the park. And they've moved in with their dog Cody, and this shot is for you, Commissioner Sharkey. They will have several responsibilities, Richard and Nong will, including overseeing our new rental program in the park, providing light maintenance in the landscaped areas of the park, and basically serving as an eyes and ears to keep the park and park visitors safe. Now, I was up in the park with Commissioner Sharkey on Saturday as part of the third Saturday Wilderness Workday, and I needed to go over and talk to Richard and Nong. Had some paperwork for them to sign, and I went up to their trailer, or to their, it's a motor coach, not a trailer. I went up to their motor coach and knocked on the door. There was nobody there. Nobody answered. And I couldn't figure out, well, I wonder what they're doing. Where are they? Well, maybe they went for a hike. So I dropped back down into the park. I went to the picnic area, and when I got there they were. They had a bucket of soapy water, a sponge, and they were washing all of our picnic tables. Now, no one had asked them to do this. They had just decided it needed to be done, and they were taking it upon themselves to take care of it. And if that's not enough, yesterday I got an email from Richard saying that we had run out of doggy waste bags, and if I could just get him some more, he would make sure that the containers were full, and he'll keep them always full so that people can take those waste bags out when they take their dogs on the trail and pick up after themselves. So this is Richard and Nong. They are they've proven themselves already, I think, to be a pair of go-getters. And as I've gotten to know them since they've moved in, they are also lovely people. And I hope when you're up in the park, you will introduce yourself and say hello and get to know Richard and Nong Smith. And that's all I have. If there are any questions regarding the Trail Safety Patrol or the Deukmejian Park hosts, I would be happy to answer them.
Just a quick question about the park hosts. How long do they sign an agreement for, or is it at their will?
They do. They signed an agreement before they moved in, and they have a commitment to us for 6 months.
Great.
And if we're both happy with each other at the end of 6 months, then we will re-up them again for another 6 months.
And then if not, somebody from this organization would theoretically come in?
Yes, well, if they if they notify us that they want to move on to someplace else, or we determine that it's not working out in the way that we wanted it to, we would notify them 30 days in advance. They would move out, and we could turn again to the Work Camper program, where we are now members. We are employer members of the program. We found them by posting an ad online through the Work Camper work site. In fact, we had 10 responses to that, and we selected Richard and Nong.
Great.
They seem to treat it like their own
Yes.
backyard.
Yes. Richard actually now refers to the park. He's got a very, very nice view of the developed area of the park from where they've parked their motor coach, and he now calls that his front yard.
And I feel so comfortable that somebody's up there.
Yeah, it is a good thing.
What a fabulous program.
Are there other facilities that we have where we can use something like that?
I don't know that we've got an opportunity to park an RV and provide utilities in other parks as we do here. The developed area of the park was actually designed with this in mind. So literally the electricity, the water, the sewer hookup was all right there. It was all already, we had anticipated way back when that we might try this someday. And so it was ready to go when he rolled in.
It's great.
Okay. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Great program. And what is next?
Item 6B2, Therapeutic Recreation Annual Report.
Good afternoon, President Patrick, members of Commission. My name is Kenneth Kahn. I supervise the therapeutic recreation programs for the department, as well as Maple Park Community Center. I'm here to present the annual report on therapeutic recreation programs. Therapeutic recreation programs provide adults with developmental disabilities, as well as other disabilities programs within the department. All programs are designed to provide recreation, socialization, and educational opportunities. Staff members provide free drop-in activities which are appropriate to age and skill levels in a friendly and safe environment. Therapeutic recreation programs consist of the Club Maple program as well as the Get Fit program, which are held at Maple Park Community Center. Club Maple meets every Thursday from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Maple Park. Staff members offer a variety of games, including arts and crafts, games, sports, dances, birthday celebrations, and other social interactive activities. Special events are held, such as the Halloween costume contest, a Thanksgiving event, the Club Maple Christmas Party, a Valentine's Day dance, and many more special events. We just had our St. Patrick's Day event as well. Here's a picture of our Halloween costume contest that we had at Maple Park. You can see everybody had a good time. We did select a winner. I think that was Ouija, as I believe. You can see him here.
Oh.
So they do have a good time with a lot of these events. Here's our Thanksgiving Day event. We were able to feed all of the participants a Thanksgiving Day dinner, and we had a lot of people for this event, I think over 75 or 80. Here's a picture of the Thanksgiving meal that was served. Here's a picture of our Christmas party that we had at Club Maple. We had a lot of a lot of participants once again for the event. Here's our Valentine's Day dance. You can see everybody had a good time. Some of the pictures that we took for Valentine's Day. And that's one of my staff, Ian Sayer. Club Maple's yearly attendance has gone up. We've gone up from roughly having 30 participants a week till about 50, which has reflected the yearly total of 2,500. We think the attendance has gone up since we moved the Get Fit program over from Pacific Community Center and consolidated it to Maple Park Community Center. So it kind of is one location for all of the department's therapeutic programs. So we think that's increased the attendance. It's made it a lot more convenient for all of the participants. A lot of the participants take dial-a-ride and other services to get to the facility. So the weekly attendance, as you can see as well, has gone up from 30 to 50 this year. The Get Fit program is designed to educate adults with developmental disabilities about how to start and maintain a healthy lifestyle through conditioning, exercise, and nutrition. Participants receive a weekly weigh-in, flexibility charting, nutrition tips, and a journal to chart their eating habits and daily exercise. Each activity begins with stretching and conditioning. Weekly activities include hiking, soccer, softball, basketball, and many more. The program meets Mondays at Maple Park Community Center from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Get Fit's yearly attendance was about 500 with about 10 participants, 8 to 10 participants per week. So Get Fit is more of an exercise program that we have to kind of get them, that exercise that everybody needs. Here's a picture of the Get Fit basketball night that we had. Go Lakers. Any questions?
Questions?
I have a comment.
You may comment.
I've been to the Valentine dance.
Oh, you did?
And I didn't sit through one dance. I felt very special.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was great. I had a wonderful time.
Right. A lot of the participants, they look forward to this program. It's one of the only things that they have.
Very
in terms
happy.
Of social interaction and so forth. So it's very, very popular. With that said, we have some clients from Club Maple, Arthur and Barbara. You guys want to come up for just a minute?
Hi.
Barbara, I think Barbara wanted to say a couple of words to you guys. So.
Okay, great. Are you the dancers?
Yeah, I enjoy Get Fit and Club Maple. I've been going to it for quite a while. And I noticed in the Leisure Guide brochure that they used to have campfires. And then it was taken out of there. They didn't have them anymore.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'd like that to be returned if possible for consideration.
Thank you.
Arthur, did you have any?
Yeah. I enjoyed the field trips, the Get Fit, the Club Maple. It's really a program to go to. Helps with weight and socialization, which I need. I'd like some more field trips and some more socialization and exercises. More hours.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Talina Tabli, and I'm just here on behalf of my brother, who's also a participant at Club Maple. He's an adult with Down syndrome. I just wanted to make a comment that I do believe that this program does have a great positive impact on a lot of the participants, given the fact that a lot of them are not of school age and they do live in group homes. And this is a great way for them to weekly come to, the program and have social interaction, have activities. It's just a way for them to get out and see other kids. Well, I call them kids because my brother, for me, he's still my kid brother. So, but I personally take my brother on Thursdays, and I enjoy it myself because when he's happy, I'm happy, and I know I can see it from the other participants that they really do enjoy, being there and having the group interaction, and just it's kind of like our own little community over there. So, that was
What's your
just
brother's name?
Arthur
Arthur.
Eintalbian.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll look for him.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you.
Just what a wonderful program it is, and I'm glad to see that there's the Get Fit component to it also, because I think that's very important for all of us to keep fit. And then the social part on Thursday nights, it sounds wonderful, and we'll certainly ask staff to look at the things that you've commented on and see if we can't do something about that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, what is next?
Next, we have item 6B3, monthly activity reports at A, Recreation and Community Services.
Okay, President Patrick, members of the commission, in your packets you'll find the monthly activity report for the Recreation and Community Services section. During the month of February, there were 12 events held at the Civic Auditorium. Total revenue collected at the Civic was $13,111. And year-to-date total revenue this fiscal year is $219,525. We had two deliveries, one for a city event and another one for the Winter Shelter program. We assisted the Human Services section and delivered our generator. Customer service and the community center permit report, we had a total of 128 revenue permits and 112 non-revenue permits, with total revenue of $34,172. Just this morning, I went ahead and placed the order in for the Pro Wall Containment System and acrylic glass for the indoor soccer program. So the estimated time of arrival is between May 1st and May 15th. This will allow staff to play around with the system between May 15th and May 30th, and hopefully starting June 1st, we'll have the indoor soccer program ready to go for the residents in Glendale. And if there's anyone interested in renting the Civic Auditorium for indoor soccer, they can call the Civic Auditorium at 818-548-2787 and speak with the supervisor of the Civic, Laura Dalian. So we're pretty excited about that. And now I want to invite Monique Herrera, who's the Customer Service Office Supervisor. One of her duties is marketing, leisure guide, and the new flip book. She'd like to introduce the flip book ZMag magazine, which is online now. The inaugural issue came out last Monday, I believe, for spring 2013. So Monique is going to present the flip book.
Good afternoon, President Patrick, commissioners, and fellow department staff. Please excuse me, but I might be coughing. Let me apologize ahead of time. I'm actually really excited about this ZMag version. Let me just give you a little history. I'm a member of the Cerritos Performing Arts Center ticket sales place where, I get tickets every year. And they have this really cool interactive catalog that flips pages and then it shows videos of the performances. It's a good marketing tool. So as part of the media team, I brought the idea to the committee and we loved it, and Onig and our director had allowed us to go ahead and proceed with it. And what it essentially does is it converts traditional printed material online into more interactive features with videos and more exciting marketing techniques using Adobe Flash and other programs. And I'll just give you a little sample of it. We still do post a PDF version in case certain people don't have the necessary requirements, but it's pretty commonplace in computers to have it. So what we did is, so I designed the leisure guide first, and then I worked with the company, and we have different features. Unfortunately, you can't see it all on this screen, but on the home computer, there is a help menu that if you don't know how to use a flip book or an e-catalog, it'll tell you how to do it. There's also the option to print, and you don't have to print all 51 pages. You can choose which pages you want. Let's say you're just interested in day camp. You're just going to print the one sheet on day camp. You don't have to waste your paper and your ink. Here's our logo that I hyperlinked to the website. One of my favorite components about this is hyperlinks, and I'll show you those as we go along the way. There's different ways to flip the pages. You can hold it. You can flip up here. Most people just come down here. One thing I am going to do next time is have this a little bit darker. I'll go ahead and show you up here. Most importantly, the reason we wanted to go this route was we wanted to highlight our facilities that you can reserve. Previous to this, we would have to email customers or potential customers tons of pictures of our locations or invite them to come over. This makes it a lot easier, and I'll show you as we get along the way. We have the standard, welcome greeting from our director. We've also hyperlinked the pages, so if you're just looking for arts camps, you could just click to that and it'll jump right to it. We have our regular information that we always have in our leisure guide. A couple of spring programs that we're offering for the camps for the children. And then, for example, this is the first video I have. I wanted to highlight day camp because it's going to be coming up in summer, so we got pictures of previous camps. You can't hear it, but they do have sound. I picked Yanni music, so that's on here. And it just will highlight the different camps that we had, so it could be more marketable to people and they could see actually what we do with our kids. And then we have our regular classes, and then I'll take you to the facility portion. I also included this hike. I worked with Mark.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I knew you guys would like that. So we put that in here, and then I hyperlinked it to your website. Then I got a picture that I found online. Here's the first one that I chose, which is the Adult Recreation Center. I basically just listed the site, what the amenities are, the key amenities at that site. I explained to potential clients what are the steps to rent, and then I hyperlinked to the reservation form. Normally you would have to come in person, you'd have to fill out a reservation form, and then you'd have to send it back or fax it in or bring it in. But this way it saves time for the customer, it saves time, they can just come in on their lunch break. It's already filled out, it's probably already sent to the location, we check availability and we can go ahead and process the reservation. I took pictures on an empty day just to show the facility a little bit better. And you can actually direct customers. If I were running the Adult Recreation Center and somebody wanted to book, we can actually just send them the link and it'll go straight to the site. Our customers already in the customer service office love it. They use it all the time. They forward it to people and stuff. So,
the form that it links to, is that a fillable PDF?
I did make it fillable. Yes, I did. One thing that we did encounter that we're going to work on next time is usually it's better if there's only one video because then it auto plays. So, for example, on the left-hand side we had Maple. I programmed it to where this auto plays, but this one obviously I would have to click it to play it. Usually for Z-Mags or e-catalogs, they only have one video, but we have so many facilities, our document would have been like 100 pages or something. So we opted to go this route. And then I did consolidate some of the areas that I'm directly responsible for. In this case, Brand Park, Casa Adobe de San Rafael, and Verdugo Adobe. I took a lot of pictures of these locations, and then I just put a title screen in between because our publication just would have been too long. We're not limited, but we did want to show people that this is where you can get married and, where you can have picnics and stuff like that. So most of our customers use this location, these three locations. So did that. And then also, I did it for all the reservable facilities. And then one thing that we also did was, here's the Duke Majin. I worked with Mark on that, and I got some really great pictures from him. We never had posted this before, but now that we have the park hosts, we're able to have reservations at the park. So now we're able to publicize it a little bit. Before, we also had this where these are all the park locations, and they're hyperlinked, and it'll go to Google, so to help people find the locations. One new thing that I do like is before, for this mailing list, people would either have to cut this out and send it to us, which most people don't, or they would have to send an email to request it. We have it now where you could just put your name and your email and click submit, and I'll get it right away. So it saves customers, and we already have a bunch more than we had, and it's only been online for a couple of weeks. The next thing that I'm working on is this registration form. People can pre-fill it, and then they can submit it to me. Before, you couldn't do that. You could cut it out, print it, and send it, or you can go online and register. But I have a couple customers who already use this for one of my classes. You can email it. You can save it as a PDF, whatever you want to do, whatever way you want to send it to people. Let me see if I can. This is the part where I was mentioning about printing. So it segregates each page, and then you can just simply choose, I just want page 15, and then you can print it. So that's pretty neat. It's also good for our marketing booth. If we didn't want to print the whole publication, we can just print a couple of programs that we want to highlight. So I'm very excited about this magazine. Our next publication, we're going to try to focus on the contract class program to increase revenue. So we'll take photos and videos of current classes that we have, and then I'll make videos. We'll still leave the facility videos because we still want to try to increase revenue, but we're going to highlight that. I'm also going to highlight filming in our parks. Our filming has increased tremendously, so I'm going to have a 2-page spread on ways that people can film, and just letting people know that we welcome filming and that we like working with film companies and stuff. So that'll be our next thing, and then any other suggestion that my supervisor and my director have, or any of you have, we can always highlight. We have no limit. We have 4 versions. We have 3 left to do, and then we'll probably renew because most people do enjoy this new magazine. And that pretty much concludes my presentation. Do you have any questions?
Wow.
Yeah, I love it.
I think we're all 4 speechless.
Oh, good. That's good.
Beautiful job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And that filming will bring in revenue, too.
Yeah,
It's great.
Coco and I just are working on a huge filming that's going on right now, so we're looking forward to it. We found that a lot of other places don't like to offer filming. We love it. We want to bring in the revenue. We like to see our sites. One of our recent things that I'm pretty proud of is I had a client who won the Latin Grammy for Best New Artist, and they filmed in our park. So it was actually on the Latin Grammy, so that's pretty neat. So we'll look forward to that.
Speaking of things like Latin Grammys, how hard is it to translate into the important languages for the city of Glendale? Spanish, Armenian?
Well, we still have the PDF version, and so on the first page we have phone numbers. We don't translate the whole. We don't translate the whole document, but on the first page, I'm sorry, I can't see it all down here, but
You can scroll down.
it's just go back. We do have phone numbers for the translation. You can call, but we're not able to translate the whole document. And we do have staff also on site.
No budget for that.
Yeah.
That would be a
That'd
lot
be-
of words to translate.
That's great.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's fabulous.
Thank
Really,
you so
really
much.
good.
Thank you so much. If you ever have a chance to look at it and have any feedback, please let us know, because I'm looking for as much feedback as possible so we can keep improving it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And we will need a video of the Verdugo 10K for next publication, for next year's publication.
You want a free pancake.
Don't need the pancake. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And what is next?
Item 6B3B, Human Services.
President Patrick, we're actually going to continue that report. We'll have a Human Services report at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Item 6B3C, Park Planning and Development.
President Patrick, Emil Tatavosian, our Planning and Development Administrator, had a family emergency, so he's not available to provide a on the oral report, but as you have in your packet, you do have a written report with the highlights of our current activity and with photos. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Unless you have specific questions, I can try to answer them.
Okay. Are there any questions? Was
Just
Good
on the
report.
first page, this rock has been
Yeah.
cleaned up.
well, the picture on the second page shows it cleaned up.
Oh, good.
So there's a.
I did read this
Yes.
report, believe it or not.
So we were very happy to see that rock nice and clean again.
Yes.
And it was cleaned with the assistance of the Volunteer Safety Patrol.
Great.
It's part of their route.
So exciting to have them working.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is next?
Item 6B3D, Park Services.
Good afternoon again, President Patrick, members of the Commission. This month's activities report you have in front of you, we were able to complete 129 work orders, of which 106 work orders were completed by our gardeners, 5 pesticide application work orders, and irrigation 18 work orders. Going forward, you will start noticing an increase in our irrigation work orders as spring and summer come back and we start turning the irrigation back on. It's when we start noticing all the damages, the broken lines, and the defects that we have to constantly maintain. I will disappoint you, by the way, and I did not know she was going to have a possible award-winning presentation of her website. I do not have a pictorial view for you this month. I will continue that next month. Apologies for not getting that done. We didn't have enough pictures taken of the projects this month. However, a couple of things I'd like to highlight in here. As was requested, we're highlighting in yellow some new items that you may not have seen in the past. On this month's report, I'd like to highlight a couple of the irrigation work we've done. Montrose Community Park, the backflow device, which is the control system after the meter that we typically install in all our facilities. So if there is any problems, the water will not flow back. We'll turn it off and control irrigation and water in the site. Had a major leak and it had defects that needed to be replaced. Credit to Stan Claves, who's our acting senior building repair, and Section 1 crews, who gave him a hand, had that replaced within 2 days of receiving the materials. That is a very extraneous job to be able to do. And for that fact, I wanted Stan to continue. They're doing a major job at Duke-Majan this month of moving the backflow and changing some of the lines, adding some new valves, and taking some flow sensors so that we can have proper irrigation. We have had some issues at Duke-Majan, so they're taking care of that. Figured we'll show it to you next month to see what kind of detail goes into some of the major irrigation repairs that we do at the sites. Hopefully we'll be able to highlight that as one of our projects next month. And also Pacific and Riverdale, which is our Pacific Park area. It turns out we have had a significant leak over there that we didn't even notice. It was an underground leak where the main meter connecting to the first valve had a 2-inch line that was leaking constantly. Well, lucky us, Water and Power noticed a constant usage of water in that facility and notified us. And as we dug down, we noticed that the pipings were fairly worn out in some areas, and the glue was not holding very well. That was a big project that they did. Hopefully it'll help some of the water consumption at that facility going forward. And that's a very short presentation. I promise to continue with the photos of the projects next month.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Sharkey.
Speaking of irrigation, I drove by Heritage, and, it's pretty overgrown, and I understand we've had cutbacks. The only thing I was concerned with is the plants, are they getting enough water? I know they're overgrown, but are they, because to replace plants would be expensive. And something's going in there, so I imagine it's going to be cleaned up. When is it, April 1st, when people are going into that?
As a matter of fact, we did a walkthrough, Commissioner Sharkey, we did a walkthrough with our facility staff and human services staff regarding the All for Health move-in. And we did notice some of those plants that were overgrown. We have a work order into our staff. Some of the shrubs, the grass, the tall grasses will be brought down to a reasonable site. The rosemary in the front part of it, as you noticed, it had overgrown. It's beautiful, yet I agree with you. That's another work order we put in. It is not meant to be the low end. I mean, there's 2 types of rosemaries that they typically plant. Some of them do stay very low, more of a ground cover. This one is more of a shrub base. so it does grow. But I agreed with you, it was not intended to be as overgrown. In terms of them getting enough water, so you know, over the winter months, we try to conserve water. We turn irrigation off. And coming last couple of weeks, actually I should say longer than that, we noticed things are starting to dry up a little bit, so we do have irrigation back on. However, when the shrub beds are as tall as that one, sometimes not all of them get proper irrigation, so another reason why we have work orders to have those trimmed down to more manageable levels.
Right. Yeah, I was just concerned that everything was getting watered, so.
Yes.
I
All
had,
right, thank you. Yes.
I had a neighbor of mine, I live in Montecito Park area of the city, near Montrose Park, and she walks her dog up and down in the park quite a bit. And she has been mentioning to me for quite some time now about people who are having barbecues. And what they do is they dump the barbecue coals, and it's up against a hillside, which obviously could ignite. How do you guys deal with, people with the barbecues and things like that?
Commissioner Khan, that is somewhat of a challenge in some cases. We do provide special cans for the hot coals for people to put them in, yet at times we still end up having folks who completely finish their barbecue and dump the coals right there, either on the grass, the base of trees. It is difficult to manage because we don't have it staffed all the time. Our folks pretty much go through the facilities and do the little and general maintenance. If we notice it, we do help them clean it out and put them in the right proper locations. But that's a challenge sometimes we face. I do get calls with some of the residents there concerned with the barbecuing, the hot coals. We've asked police, every time we do get the calls, we ask police to increase their patrols in the area, specifically later in the evenings when we've had instances where the residents have called me about kids starting little fires in the trash cans, whether to play, to stay warm. And every time we do get those calls, we pass that on to a police department to help us with increased patrol of the area. And to some degree, that is pretty much the only patrol force that we have we're able to address.
Can you increase, I haven't been up there to look at it, can you increase the number of containers that people can put their coals into? Or is that not the issue?
We've tried that in some cases. Our experience is that if somebody is not going to walk it over a little bit to dump it, even if you put the trash can next door, sometimes it's general trash, litter is even all over the place. We will look into that as an option and see if it improves. We may do a test pilot to see if it is increased trash cans may help. What we do notice sometimes, though, the same trash can is designed for hot coals, people use it for trash. And they put the trash in the same coal, and then you still end up having a little bit of fire. And it's unfortunate as it is, but we'll look into that as an option. There are containers that are of concrete and metal containers for the coal, which is what's ideal. And we'll look into an option, see if it can work by increasing some of that in the area.
Great.
What about increased signage? Would that help?
Honestly, I think we fall into the same, based on experience, if people aren't going to follow the rules, people aren't going to follow the rules. You'd be surprised how many times I walk into a facility and there's a no smoking sign right next to someone and they're lighting a cigarette. So as unfortunate as it is, increased signage really is not going to help based on our experience. People who are going to follow the rules of law, they typically follow the rules of law, and people who are not, regardless of the number of signage, our experience has been, we end up with the same end result.
If you could look into that, I'd appreciate it.
Definitely, we will. We can give you an update on that next month, see what we found other agencies have done to alleviate some of those problems. I'll do a verbal update on that next commission meeting.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Item 7 is adjournment.
Okay.
That's okay.
I do have one thing to say.
We still have a few more comments, so we
I do
won't
have-
adjourn quite yet.
This isn't Parks' fault. This is to the people out there. Your intentions are good, but parks are not for candidate signs, so I just wanted to get that out there. So I did see one.
Or parkways.
This morning. Yeah, well, I'm more concerned with parks.
We have noticed some, and if there are in parks, we'll reiterate to staff to have it removed. Public places aren't for campaign signs.
Right.
We've had them removed from medians on Glendale, especially a couple of weeks ago. Our weekend supervisor driving by took those signs down and took it to the campaign headquarters. But if we do, we'll reiterate to staff if they see any campaign signage on our park facilities to have them removed and delivered to the campaign headquarters.
I wasn't alerting staff so much as just the general public. Your intentions are good, but, okay, thank you.
Did you have?
Yeah, I just had a quick question I meant to ask when Onug was giving his report. I I'm assuming that the city council is going to do away with the gun shows at the Civic. What effect is that going to have on us financially?
Total revenue loss will be around 55, 56,000, but I'm working with Laura, the supervisor, to bring in different events to book those weekends.
Is that net or gross income?
Gross.
Gross,
Gross,
okay.
yeah. Gross income, not including, hourly salaries and so on. But we have a plan in place to bring in more events, more rentals, and if those weekends are available, we'll rent it out to indoor soccer groups and maybe have the indoor soccer tournaments those weekends.
Okay, and actually, I have one question, too. I'm looking at the communique about Brand Library, and I was wondering if we are going to get a report soon on how the classes that were displaced from the Brand Art Studios while this is going on are doing in the various other places where they've moved to. And I know we get a yearly report on that. Is that coming up soon, or could we have some kind of interim report on how
Sure.
the classes are doing?
Sure. We report on the contract class report, I believe, in January, but we'll go ahead and give you an update on all the classes that were at Brand. They're at Chevy Chase now and at our community buildings such as Griffith Manor and Dunsmore. So we'll go ahead and give you a brief update.
Okay, I was at Chevy Chase yesterday and saw the floor for the Zumba class on Saturday, and it reminded me, and I wondered how things were going, so.
Yes, we'll come back in April and give you an update. It's been a positive change for all the students and instructors, and they're all enjoying the different locations.
Good.
So they really like Chevy Chase Library, actually.
It's a really nice building, and it's got new furniture and new carpet, and very nice, so I'm
Yeah, we'll
glad
report.
they're enjoying it.
We'll report to you.
Okay.
Thank you. Mhm.
Anything else? All right, then we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.